The relationship between Iran and Iraq has been marked by tension and conflict for decades. These two Middle Eastern neighbors have a long history of disputes dating back centuries. However, the most significant conflict erupted in 1980 with the Iran-Iraq War. This devastating war lasted for 8 years, claiming the lives of hundreds of thousands of people and leaving a legacy of mistrust and animosity. The war was fueled by a complex mix of factors, including territorial disputes, political ideologies, and economic interests. Saddam Hussein, the then leader of Iraq, aimed to capitalize on Iran's instability following the 1979 Islamic Revolution. He sought to seize control of the Shatt al-Arab waterway, a crucial shipping route. The war, however, devolved into a bloody stalemate. Both sides suffered heavy casualties and significant economic damage. The conflict also drew in other countries, with global powers providing support to either side. The war finally ended in 1988 with a UN-brokered ceasefire, but the underlying tensions remained. The legacy of the Iran-Iraq war continues to cast a long shadow over the region. The conflict sowed the seeds for future conflicts and instability. It also contributed to the rise of sectarianism and extremism in the Middle East. The historical context of the Iran-Iraq conflicts is essential to understanding the complexities of the region today. To understand the current tensions in the Middle East, it's crucial to identify the key players and their motivations. Iran, under its current theocratic regime, seeks to expand its influence in the region. It supports various Shia militias and political groups, including Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in the Gaza Strip. This strategy aims to counter the influence of the United States and its allies, including Israel and Saudi Arabia. Iraq, still recovering from years of conflict and instability, finds itself caught in the middle of this regional power struggle. The country is home to a significant Shia population and has strong ties with Iran. However, it also seeks to maintain good relations with the United States, which played a key role in overthrowing Saddam Hussein in 2003. The United States, while seeking to reduce its military presence in the Middle East, remains a significant actor. Its primary concerns include countering Iranian influence, ensuring the security of Israel, and maintaining stability in the oil-rich Persian Gulf. Other regional players, such as Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and the Gulf states, also play crucial roles in this complex geopolitical chessboard. Each of these actors has its own set of interests and priorities. These often conflicting goals contribute to the volatility of the region. Understanding the motivations and actions of these key players is essential to navigating the complexities of Middle East tensions. Recent events highlight the precarious nature of peace in the Middle East. Tensions have escalated dramatically since July 2023, particularly between Iran and Israel. In November 2024, the Institute for the Study of War reported an imminent threat of Iranian retaliation against Israel. This planned attack was a direct response to Israeli Defense Forces strikes that killed 4 Iranian military officers. Significantly, this marked the first time Iran threatened to involve its conventional military, the Artesh, alongside the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. This escalation signaled a potential shift towards a broader, more direct conflict. Simultaneously, Iranian-backed Iraqi militias, including the Islamic Resistance of Iraq and Saraya Awliya al-Dam, claimed responsibility for drone attacks targeting Israel. These attacks, while intercepted by the IDF, further inflamed tensions and highlighted Iran's use of proxies to target its adversaries. The situation remains highly volatile, with the potential for miscalculation and rapid escalation. The involvement of Iranian-backed militias in Iraq adds another layer of complexity, further drawing Iraq into the conflict. The ongoing conflicts and tensions in the Middle East have far-reaching consequences, impacting not only the region but also the wider international community. The instability fuels a humanitarian crisis, displacing millions of people and creating a breeding ground for extremism. The conflict also disrupts global energy markets, as the Middle East is a crucial supplier of oil and gas. Furthermore, the involvement of global powers, such as the United States and Russia, raises the stakes and creates a risk of wider conflict. The recent escalation of tensions between Iran and Israel has sent shockwaves through the region. The potential for a direct confrontation between these two regional powers has raised concerns about a wider conflagration. The international community faces the challenge of containing the conflict and finding a path towards a peaceful resolution. The interconnected nature of the conflicts in the Middle East requires a comprehensive and coordinated approach from global actors. Section 5. Caught in the middle: Iraq's balancing act. Iraq finds itself in an increasingly precarious position as tensions escalate between Iran and Israel. While seeking to rebuild after years of conflict, Iraq must navigate the competing interests of its powerful neighbors. The country's Shia-led government maintains close ties with Iran, which exerts significant influence through political and religious channels. However, Iraq also relies on the United States for security and economic support. This delicate balancing act becomes increasingly difficult as Iran utilizes Iraqi territory for attacks against Israel. The United States has issued stern warnings to Iraq, emphasizing the need to prevent such actions and the risk of Israeli retaliation. Iraq's ability to maintain its neutrality is crucial not only for its own stability, but also for regional security. The country's fragile peace remains under threat as it becomes a battleground for proxy conflicts. The human cost lives upended by conflict. Behind the geopolitical maneuvering and strategic calculations lies a devastating human toll. The conflicts in the Middle East have claimed the lives of countless civilians, leaving a trail of shattered families and communities. Millions have been displaced from their homes, seeking refuge in neighboring countries or living in precarious conditions within their own borders. The physical and psychological scars of war run deep. Children grow up surrounded by violence and deprivation, their education and futures uncertain. The constant threat of violence creates an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty, eroding social trust and hindering development. The international community has a moral obligation to alleviate the suffering of those affected by these conflicts. Providing humanitarian aid, supporting refugees, and addressing the root causes of conflict are essential steps towards a more peaceful and just future for the region. A tangled web: international implications. The conflicts in the Middle East have profound implications for international relations and global security. The region's strategic importance, its vast energy reserves, and the involvement of major powers create a complex web of interdependencies. The rivalry between Iran and Saudi Arabia, often characterized as a Shia-Sunni conflict, has fueled sectarian tensions across the Muslim world. The rise of extremist groups such as ISIS has further destabilized the region and posed a direct threat to international security. The conflicts have also exacerbated the global refugee crisis, placing a significant strain on neighboring countries and the international humanitarian system. The interconnected nature of these challenges demands a coordinated and multilateral approach. International cooperation is essential to address the root causes of conflict, promote dialogue, and build a more stable and prosperous future for the region. The path forward: seeking peace in a volatile region. Achieving lasting peace in the Middle East requires a multifaceted and long-term approach. While there are no easy solutions, several key steps can contribute to a more peaceful and stable future for the region. Dialogue and diplomacy are essential to building trust and addressing the underlying grievances that fuel conflict. International mediation efforts led by organizations such as the United Nations can play a crucial role in facilitating dialogue and finding common ground. Addressing the humanitarian crisis is paramount. Providing aid, supporting refugees, and addressing the long-term needs of those affected by conflict are essential for rebuilding lives and fostering reconciliation. Investing in education, economic development, and good governance can help create a more hopeful future for the region's youth and reduce the appeal of extremism. Conclusion: a call for diplomacy and understanding. The ongoing tensions in the Middle East, particularly the escalating conflict between Iran and Israel, pose a significant threat to regional and global stability. The complex historical context, The involvement of numerous actors with competing interests and the potential for miscalculation create a volatile and dangerous situation. Finding a path towards peace requires a commitment to diplomacy, dialogue, and a deep understanding of the underlying issues fueling the conflict. The international community has a responsibility to support efforts to de-escalate tensions, address the humanitarian crisis, and work towards a more peaceful and just future for the Middle East.